Welcome to another New Testament Greek tutorial. In this video we'll be looking at the different uses of participles. Most scholars define participles as verbal adjectives that share characteristics of both verbs and adjectives. As an adjective, the participle has case, number, and gender, frequently agreeing with the noun it modifies, and as a verb it has tense and voice. Participles can be split into four main categories. They can function adjectively or verbally, and are either independent or dependent on a noun or verb. The first category are dependent adjectival participles. They act in a similar way to normal adjectives. They modify a noun and are either found in the attributive or predicate position. Its position in the sentence will determine whether it is attributive or predicate. Translators such as Wallace and Custer suggest that the adjectival proper is often best translated as a relative clause. An example of the adjectival proper in the attributive position is found in Matthew 2:7, which translates as either the shining star or the star which is shining. An example of the adjectival proper in the predicate position is found in Hebrews 4:12, which can be translated as the word of the living God or the word of the God who is living. An adjectival participle that is independent can stand in place of a noun. They always have an article, and while the aspect of the tense is not the focus, its meaning is often retained to some extent. An example of this type of participle is found in John 3:16. The present aspect suggests the idea of someone who believes and keeps on believing. Let's now move on to the verbal use of the participle. A dependent verbal participle functions as a finite verb and is either found in the imperative or indicative mood. It is not dependent on the mood of the main verb and only appears a few times in the New Testament. An example of a verbal proper is found in Romans 12:9. Notice how the two participles are in the imperative mood and translate as such, rendering a command to hate and to cling. The last and most common category are adverbial participles which modify the main verb. There are several subcategories that we will have a look at. The first and most diverse subcategory is the circumstantial participle. The function of the circumstantial participle is to add meaning and context to the main verb, answering questions like when, how, or why. A temporal circumstantial participle answers the question when the action of the participle and the main verb occur. If the participle is in the present, the two actions are contemporaneous, such as in our example of legon data, which translates to while saying these things. If the participle is in the aorist, the action of the participle happens before the main verb. A participle can also inform the manner of the action of the main verb and often conveys emotion, as shown in our example, he went away grieving. The participle of means is similar to the participle of manner, however it is emotionally neutral and focuses more on the method. The keyword for translation is by, as shown in the example below. I have sinned by betraying. Circumstantial participles can also answer the question of why the main verb is happening. In this case, it is best to translate with because or since. A participle can also express the condition of the main verb. The keyword for translation here is if. As in our example, we shall read if we do not lose heart. This use of the participle adds a sense of improbability to the main verb and is best translated by supplying although or though. Similar to an infinitive, the participle can express purpose of the action. In English, it is best translated as an infinitive. The final use of the circumstantial participle is to express the result of the main verb. When translating, it is helpful to supply the clause with the result of. Another common use of an adverbial participle is to convey attendant circumstances. In this instance, the participle is used to express action that is coordinated with the main verb. Wallace identifies 5 key indicators that all occur in at least 90% of all cases. The last common use of the participle is the genitive absolute. Kustenberger defines the function of the genitive absolute as either giving background information or expressing action that is happening at the same time. In this instance, the subject of the participle is different to the subject of the main verb, and the participle is always found in the genitive. Wallace identifies 3 more less frequent uses of the adverbial participle: indirect discourse, periphrastic, and redundant. However, these uses are rare and they can be treated case by case as they come up in the translation process. We have seen that because of their dual nature as verbs and adjectives, participles can convey a vast variety of meaning. Some textual hints, such as the presence or absence of the article, can help determine in which way a participle functions, but most cases will be dependent on context. However, mastering Greek participles can draw out hidden nuances in the text and is well worth the effort. If you would like to learn more about participles, here's a list of all the resources used in the making of this video. As always, thank you so much for watching.